Hey, what's up? I'm Trevor, the creative behind Quacksat Studios, where creativity meets purpose. Here we design visuals that talk, from both graphic designing to meaningful stories and visuals. With a touch of perfection and satisfaction, we turn imagination into impact. Stick around, let's create something that speaks. Let me just copy this picture. Let's make it a bit square. I know it's not a perfect square. So texture, pictures, let's see, we want something. So this is the square. That means if I can select just the square to come out perfectly, this is the shape. So it'll come out like this. So you have seen some pictures. Okay, let's try to disable some to hide some shapes. Yeah, yes, like this. So you have seen some pictures maybe having something like they're having products. So you can just copy this, put it somewhere like that, then add another picture of a product that you are selling. It's square. Make sure also you select something square. You can reduce it, or wow, it's coming out perfect. Copy this, bring it somewhere here. So say that I'm trying to maintain the steps where we talk about consistent. It needs consistent when you design them. Space between here and here needs to match. So when I'm pressing, I'm making sure that there should be that kind of same spacing. So I'm going to go to texture and just select something. Which one should we select? This one. I'm going to make it square. That's how you deal with this. So I'm going to delete this. So we're dealing with this, right? All right, just increase the size a bit, something like that. Then this, going to another tool, we have talked of the texture, opacity. We're just trying to reduce the opacity of the shape. The stroke, this is another way of adding a stroke. And this is the eraser tool, whereby you can lab a certain area. You can erase a certain area of the shape, for example, something like here. You're going to have something like that. The mask tool, the same way in the text. Here also you use it the same way. So let's try to reduce the scale, something like that. Then let's try to put a move tool. So the area that is selected is going to be masked. So you can choose either to mask inside or outside. Increase the scale. Going to click OK. That's how you're dealing with the text with the shape tools. Yeah, we're still working on it. So I'm just going to hide this. Let's work on this. So I'm just going to disable the mask tool. Put this beneath. Then stroke, we have discussed stroke, the laser tool, the rotation. We have talked of the ways where either use that, or here it's you use it at the corner. Text tool, the rotation is at the center, but here you use at the corner. So there's different ways of also stretching the shape where there is some labels. So you can increase or reduce stretch. That's how you deal with these nodes. So you can increase it to here. Okay. Then we talk of the 3D rotation, whereby it rotates in a 3D way. I don't know if you can see the effect clearly. It's like bending, but in a 3D, something like that. So here's how it is bending. So you have seen some text, some kind of these things, maybe putting some details, or just adding some fancy stuffs, something like that. So that's how you deal with this 3D rotation. There's 3D shape. You can make your text to be a 3D, as you can see. So I'll try to disable the 3D shape. 3D rotation. 3D shape, that means our text will be in a 3D. Let's use this one, 3D. That's how you're going to have it, the oblique hue. So you can add the depth. So that's how you deal with the 3D shapes. Perspective, oblique hue, perspective, oblique hue. And you can deal with the colors, the rotation, the light angle, where the light should reflect, the intensity shadow, the specular hardness. That's how you can deal with these things. So we're still working with this. So let's just delete this, remain with this. So let's also discuss about the persp, where you can increase, something like that. This is the effects of how you use the shape, the perspective tool. This is the result. Note that the areas, if I select this area, it's not active. Why? Because the shape initially was here. So if I want to edit, I need to create where the shape was at the first press. So from that perspective, I'm going to create the shadow. So you can create a shadow of the text. So you can increase the blur, increase the offset. Why is it not manipulating? Alright, the shadow. You can increase the blur, the offset. You can now see the effect. That's it. That's the shadow. If you want your shape to have the shadow, this is an inner shadow. That means it will only affect the inner area of the shadow. It's happening, but inside the shape. And there is the emboss. You can edit where the light should be reflected, the intensity, something like it looks like maybe like a button, something like that. See? So yes, we are done with the text tool. Now let's look at the background tool. So here you just create a quick edit on the background. Maybe you can change the color of your background. Let's say you want this color to be your background, you want this color to be your background, you want white, red. So yeah, that's how you edit the background. You can also add a gradient to your background. Just have to choose wisely using the color harmonies, which color do you want. So that's how you use the background color. Here it's transparent. That means if you save this as a PNG, it will be like a sticker without a background color. But if you save it as a JPEG, it will take black color. For example, let's try to save this as PNG. That means, as you can see, JPG with no transparent. PNG, that means it have transparent. So default is PNG. Why? Because we have removed the background. If you change it to JPG and try to save it, let's put medium. Of course, you have to select high so that the picture should be high quality. In default, it will take a background, black background. You see. So this is our product. So I'll just try to delete this. So that's how you deal with this. So you're going to put the color with the color you want. You can select. Then there is the image size. This deals with the ratio, the dimensions of your Canva that you're working on. If you're creating a banner, it can be the same size with the flyer. If you're creating a business card, it has also its own dimensions. So the dimensions are calculated or are measured in pixels. If you look at the width, that is 1280 pixels. The height is 1280 pixels. Why? Because it's a square. So you need to know that 1 feet, it makes 1 feet is equal to 1152 pixels. So you have been given some dimensions by clients in feet. If you come here, want to design, make sure you convert those feet into pixels. So 1 feet is equal to 1152. Let me just try to type this. So 1 feet is equal to 1052 pixels. Pixels is just a small measurement of the size of the pictures. So also you need to know that one inch makes 96 pixels. So you've been given in either inches or feet. Make sure you convert it to have the pixels, because what you punch in here are the pixels. The size of your design also affects the quality of your product. It's garbage in, garbage out. What input is what you get. So if you input small size, that means your image will be affected in terms of the quality. So for example, if I try to punch in 1500 and 1700, the ratio is 15 to 75. That means you're going to have a great height. So if you're designing a flyer, maybe on an A4 paper, you need to understand the dimensions of. The easier way to understand, you can just go on Google and get the dimension. Maybe say you are designing a business card, you need to know what is the height and width of a business card. So you can just go on Google and search, give me dimensions of business card. So it's going to give you in either in feet or inches or in millimeters. So you just have to convert that into pixels and get those dimensions, change them into pixels and get those dimensions, punch them in, and you're good to go. I punch in 900 here. You can see now the height is increasing. If I put it into, let's say, 2000, reduce this to 4000, 4000, 1400. This is what you get at the end. If you want a square, just punch in, you have a square. That's how you do the dimensions, which is called image size. You can also put the background as an image, where these are the default one, something like an ancient paper, a book paper, something like that. So these are just some defaults backgrounds, but you can create your own, or you can download your own and use. It's up to you. So these are some of just the default backgrounds of PixelLab. So these are just some defaults. So the background, we're remaining with the crops. That means you can crop the image where you want it to appear. Or you can import an image. Let's say we take this. Instead of using the default, you can use your own image from your gallery. That means you select which image to be your background. So that's how you deal with the backgrounds. So I'm just going to change this to white, not white. Let's choose this color. Yep. Or you can take a picture using this icon and make that picture that you have captured your background. The other tool is this tool where you just add some effects, where you just add some notations. So this doesn't affect the background. So there's some shadow coming from the corners, from the borders. You can add some noise. As you can see, there's some grains. So this is noise. It's called noise. So you can enhance the spacing of the noise. It affects the background. You can add the strips, or the brightness of the background, adding a shade, something like that. The contrast, just changing the brightness, the contrast, the hue. We talked of the hue. If I change this hue to change colors, and the saturation is just increasing now. You're just increasing the brightness of that color. If it's purple, if it's pink, that means that pink could be, you're increasing the brightness of the hue of that pink to its saturated point. Yeah, to its saturation point. So right now we are done with these things. We have talked, we have discussed. So I'm just going to change this color into white. I don't love the background. Let's turn it into gray. So I told you how to make gray. So you're just taking this white color, just adding a shade, or adding bright white color, making gray. So yeah, this is gray. Contrast, if you can see the text of the pixels, it's not clear. Why? Because you have not followed the law of the principle of contrast. So this is it. I'm just going to enable these, delete these shapes, enable these, enable this, enable this, enable this, enable this, and delete these, and remove the mask. Remember, we created a mask. Yeah, then you're done. If you want to save now your document, the uppercase. So for you to save this, if you want layers, to work with the layers, there's this it shows you the grids which directs you on where to press what and should not affect the others. So you use these grids, make sure you activate them, then you use them. Yes, and now we are done with the tools of PixelLab. Find time, practice and practice. Familiarize yourself with the tools, their effects, and how to operationalize each and every single tool in PixelLab. So next video, we're going now to talk about the designing, applying now the principles of the designing. We're going to make some flyers, some banners that you can print. Practice, 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 and practice. Perfect practice makes one perfect. I hope you're enjoying these lessons. Stay put, so stick around. Let's create something together. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and like my channel.